Hi, I'm Jason Porter. Let me start off this sales training by sharing with you just a little bit about me. I've been a professional salesperson since 1992. I've generated hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, and I've become quite wealthy for doing so. Now, before we get started with how to sell, I want to take just a minute and tell you a little bit more about why I've become good at this. For almost 10 years now, I've been an integral part of Mark Comer and his team. And I got to tell you, I am better because of it. I came on board with Mark Comer because in sales, we often have to kill what we eat, right? So every day you're out there looking for another sale so that you can continue to generate revenue. But with Mark Comer, with Synergy Worldwide, and with Team 5 Star, I've been able to create tremendous residual income that's been a blessing for me and for my family. And I highly encourage you to put your guard down a little bit when it comes to sales, when it comes to multi-level marketing, when it comes to talking to somebody about health products and things that maybe you're not 100% comfortable with. Put your guard down a little bit and understand that the principles are all the same in business. You've become successful in something. You are good at something. Whatever that thing is, because you're good at it, tells me that you already have the fundamentals of being in sales. It's just whether or not you're focused on selling something that is going to create you with passive, residual, lifetime walk-away income. And when I, 10 years ago, began doing that with Mark Comer and his team, it really transformed my life. Now, my background in products and services range the gamut from small business opportunity, weight loss. I have sold a significant amount of products and services online, and real estate. Real estate is actually still now the backbone of what I do. But around that is this Synergy Worldwide, which creates the residual that allows me the lifestyle that I enjoy. Now, in order to become good at this or any business, you need to embrace and understand the basics of sales. So this training here today is to help you understand that. But before we go into it, we need to strip away the connotation that is oftentimes negative associated with sales. In fact, if you look at public opinion, the opinion of a salesperson is oftentimes quite low. But when you look at the opinion of, by the way, it's not quite as low as an attorney, and I'm probably talking to a few attorneys right now. It's okay. Doesn't matter what public opinion says about sales, because as a sales professional, I understand that everybody is in sales. Doctors, if they're good, are in sales. And if you've ever been to a bad doctor, they might have had all the medical knowledge in the world to help you and heal you, but because they were bad at sales, you didn't feel comfortable. Same thing with dentists. I'll tell you a quick story about a dentist. My dentist is Aaron Jones. He's fantastic. He makes me feel good every time I walk into his office, even if he's doing a crown or heaven forbid, a root canal. When I walk in and I see Aaron, I feel happy. He makes me feel good, and I know that I'm in good hands and that he wants me to be healthy and happy and have nice teeth. Well, one day, my dentist was out of town and my daughter had a need. She needed some service. So we went to another person who didn't live very far away from us. In fact, he was just around the corner, and I thought, well, let's try this neighbor out and see if he can help us. And to put it bluntly, he had no sales skills. My daughter walked in, and within 5 minutes, she was done and out the door crying. Minus a tooth. He simply pulled it instead of trying to make it last. And he did so in a way that was a little harsh, a little abrupt. It was efficient, it was effective, it got rid of the problem, but he was really poor at sales, and we never went back. So what does that have to do with you? You can either be good at sales or bad at sales. Now, those of you who are married, you're in sales. Those of you who've been married a long time, like me, almost 29 years, we're good at sales. All sales is making people feel comfortable, creating a relationship of trust, caring about them and wanting them to be happy and successful with whatever you're offering. and then providing them a solution for a need they honestly have. If they don't have a need for what you're offering, then you really don't have a solution and shouldn't even bother selling it to them. Just be their friend. So let me go ahead and break down the basics of sales. First of all, you need to be a product of the product. You have to believe that what you're offering somebody honestly fixes a problem. For me and for Synergy Worldwide, that problem for me was high blood pressure. I was borderline high blood pressure, and I was afraid of having to be on medication. My doctor told me that I would have to be if things didn't change. So I began to take some Synergy products. Started with a detox, which was fantastic. People around me started asking me, why are you more energetic? What are you doing? What are you taking? And they expected it to be a little pill. Well, the fact is it's a product called Pro-Arginine, and it just gently opens my arteries. And without even trying to, sales began to happen. Because I had a solution that I believed in, and they had a need. So when you have a strong testimony of the products that are provided by Synergy Worldwide, because you've used them, you've experienced that benefit, you've gone through a detox, you've created in yourself an understanding and a belief that what you have is something other people might need, and it might help them. Then at that point, you're armed with everything you need to be able to be an efficient and effective salesperson. Now, there are 4 phases of every sale. 4 phases of every sale. The first phase is discovery. And the best way to go through sales is to ask questions. We want to simply ask discovery questions. Things like, well, Mr. Jones, thanks for noticing that my energy is increased. I mean, how you feel about your energy? Are you ever low on energy? Discovery question. Yeah, no, my blood pressure is fantastic, Mr. Jones. How's your blood pressure? Discovery. So it's simply asking questions, discover what they need. And then when we discover what they need, we then go into need analysis. So I'm going to stay with Mr. Jones over here, and I'm going to I've discovered that he has some concerns about blood pressure like I do, and I'm now going to analyze his needs. Well, Mr. Jones, let me ask you, if you continue to just do what you're doing, what's the concern with your blood pressure? Is it getting worse, or are you worried that, what's your specific worry? Right? We have to find a solution for his problem. And if we ask questions about his needs, then we're going to be able to devise a solution that would help him. So, Mr. Jones, let's go to energy for just a moment. Mr. Jones, how are you noticing that you don't have energy? You got an afternoon crash, okay. You've got no energy in the morning when you get out of bed. It's hard to wake up, okay. Whatever it is, I want to find out the needs and analyze those needs to see if we can create a solution, all right? But before we ever offer a solution, and this is the key to sales, we need to make sure they understand that the solution is real. And we do this by doing what we call finding their pain. And finding their pain sounds a little bit mean, but it's a process of proper communication. And all sales is directed communication with intention. So I'm going to find Mr. Jones's pain in regards to high blood pressure. Mr. Jones, if nothing changes with your blood pressure, and if it gets worse, as you say it might, what are your concerns about that happening? Why is that a big deal to you? Do you see where that creates some pain? He might answer something like, well, gosh, if I don't get that under control, I'm worried that I could have a heart attack, and I don't want to leave my wife and 4 children without a father. That hurts. That hurts right here. And it's a real pain. I didn't create it. I didn't come up with it. Mr. Jones came up with it. I simply asked him guiding questions to have him conscientiously understand the poor state of his health. Now I have an opportunity to provide a solution. To provide a solution, this is where people say, oh, he's going to give me a sales pitch. And the sales pitch is just the wrong way to look at it. All I need to do is explain the benefits that I have. And it might go something like this. Mr. Jones, I had the same concerns. I understand exactly how you're feeling in that concern. I'm going to come back to this in just a moment, but I want you to just remember something here. Feel, felt, found. As we communicate in sales, we want to look for opportunity to talk about understanding how they feel. And then if we have honestly felt the same way, express that we have felt the same way. If we haven't felt the same way, but know somebody who has, we could refer to them. And then if we have found that the solution that we take, pro-arginine in my case, has helped me, then we can tell them what we found. So I'm going to run a feel, felt, found for you here with Mr. Jones. But Mr. Jones, I understand exactly how you feel. I was borderline high blood pressure starting in my late 30s, and was warned by my doctor that I would need to be on blood pressure medication, possibly for the rest of my life, if I didn't change some things. And you know what I found? I found that I could change through proper diet and through realigning my body nutritionally. And that's a hard thing for me. You can tell by looking at me, Mr. Jones, that I like food. So how could I do that nutritionally without changing my lifestyle dramatically? And I found a product. The product is Pro-arginine, and I just mix it in water twice a day, and it tastes good. And I drink that water, and it just opens up my arteries gently and reduces my blood pressure. And I've been able to monitor that, and I found that it has fixed things for me to such a point where I'm no longer at risk of needing to take medication. So I've just given a solution benefit. I've told them what I've seen in the product because I'm a product of that product. I have a testimony of that product. Now, the hardest part of sales, this is the part very few people learn to like, but as you get good at it, this is the part that we wipe the saliva from our mouths, we get excited because I know it's coming, and this is the fun part. See, I can't help him if I don't sell him. If he walks away with high blood pressure and I didn't do anything, and he has a heart attack, I'm going to feel bad about that. So I simply want to say, Mr. Jones, how do you think taking a product like what I take might benefit you? Do you notice that I didn't say, do you want to buy my stuff? Nobody likes to be sold, but everybody likes to buy. Have you ever found a really good deal on shoes? Let me tell you something. I am addicted to shoes. I have more shoes than my wife. And my favorite store on the planet is Nordstrom Rack. I walk through the Nordstrom Rack and I go right to the size 13s. And if I find a deal, whoo, I'm probably coming home with it. Did Nordstrom sell me on those shoes or did I buy them? I bought them and I like to buy them. Does that make sense? We all like to buy, but we don't like getting sold. So when I asked Mr. Jones how taking a product like mine could help him, I'm not selling him. He's now going to have to answer that question. And the way he's going to answer that question is a buying statement. He might say something like, well, gosh, if I could mix powder and water a couple of times a day and reduce my blood pressure without having to change my diet dramatically, that could really be good for me. I didn't sell him. He sold himself. Now all I need to do is finish up with the question of, great, well, how can I get you started to test this product? I just sold him. That's a closing question. Great, sounds like we have a fit. Let me get you a couple of boxes and let's get that started. That's the process of selling. So let me run you through it just logically without any more role playing with Mr. Jones here. First we need to discover what they need. If they don't need what you have, then you don't need to waste their time nor yours going into any type of a sales situation. So discovery, find out what they need. Then analyze that need. How deep is that need? Is it real? Provide a solution benefit. And then ask a solution question. How do they see that solution helping them? Once you've gone through those things, those 4 elements, now all we need to do is invite. Just invite them. Invite them, ask them, How would you like to try this product? I can get you some. And that sales process that we just went through is one where Mr. Jones would never say to somebody, man, I hate it when Jason comes around and tries to sell me something. Because I didn't try to sell him anything. He bought it. All I did was guide those thoughts. Does that make sense? Now, with that being said, sometimes there are objections. In fact, quite often there are objections. And handling objections in sales is the difference between being a good salesperson and a great salesperson. A great salesperson knows how to handle objections in a very casual, positive way. So let's say Mr. Jones says, well, gosh, I just don't have the money to do that right now, which is generally the biggest concern that you're going to have in any sales environment. I don't have the money or the ability to do that right now. And how do we handle that? There's a system that I've used for years. I just call it a circle close. And what we do is we take the objection that he gives us, restate it. So Mr. Jones, what you're saying is you don't have the money right now to do this. Did I understand that correctly? You see, the reason that we restate that is sometimes Mr. Jones will hear his objection and say, oh, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and we'll clarify it, because saying it isn't the same as hearing it. So I restate the objection, and if he says, yes, that's my concern, then all I'm going to do is put that objection off to the side and say, well, Mr. Jones, let's take that money objection, just put it over here. And if money weren't a concern, if you had the money to do this, is this a product you'd like to try? You see what I've just done? I've gotten back to the question of, is this something you want to do? And then if he says, man, I'd like to try this if it wasn't, for the $65 I don't have right now. Well, awesome. Well, I can help you do that. And now I'm going to go in and just simply figure a solution for him. Mr. Jones, when would be a good time? I can follow back up with you. I want you to be healthy. You want to be healthy. So when can I follow back up with you? Well, those are the basics of sales. Discovery. Analyze their needs. Provide a solution benefit or a pitch, and then ask them solution questions. How do they see the solution helping them? And then if there's any objections, put it off to the side, circle back around, and then solve the problem. Those are the basic elements of becoming a master salesperson. Now, when you're a master salesperson, millions of dollars await you. Millions of dollars await you. And I just read a book here. In fact, I want to make sure that I have it correct. His name is Steve Siebold. It's called How Rich People Think. And in that book, he explains something that I've always thought was true, because I've seen it in my life, that the older we get, the easier it is to become wealthy. The older we get, the easier it is to become wealthy. He says that in his book, people in their 50s, 60s, and even their 70s have an easier time becoming millionaires than people in their 30s. So if you are my age, with a little gray on the sides, maybe even more on the top, it's never too late. It's never too late. You have the skills, you love people, and you want to help people. All we need to do is develop a way of effectively communicating so that people understand our desire to help them and they see a benefit in what we have to offer. I know if you'll do this, you'll become a powerful salesperson. Synergy will bless your life like it's blessed mine. Take care. I look forward to teaching you again. Thanks.